I would want to be where the challenges are the greatest, but so are the opportunities.
Tonight, we continue our discussion with Dr. Kriner Cash, the new Buffalo Public School Superintendent. He has his work cut out for him. He was recruited by the state, had no real interest in coming here, but had just finished a stint running the Memphis Public Schools. And when he heard about the challenge in Buffalo, he was in. Here's 7 Eyewitness anchor Keith Radford.
Back in the 1970s, he had an afro. He ended up sitting with presidents. After a 30-year career in education, most recently running the Memphis, Tennessee public school system, he was convinced by the New York State Education Commissioner to come to Buffalo last summer.
And I was anxious and eager and ready to jump back in and do what I've been trained to do and what I had a passion to do all of my life. So Buffalo, for me, was the only choice.
No school district is perfect, especially in a large urban city where poverty, unemployment, crime, and drugs and broken families have made it really tough for many students to recognize and achieve their full potential. Did Kriner Cash really know what he was getting into?
So I went home and began to prepare, and it was at that time that I started to read and study and learn more about Buffalo.
Were you shocked or disturbed or surprised by anything?
Oh, no surprises with me. I've seen a lot in my career, been around the block a few times. In terms of how bad it is, if you're talking education, then I don't think it's any worse or any better than other large urban districts across the country.
It's only been 6 months, but Cash says he's working 6 days a week to fix what is broken here. He says the kids are the easy part. It's the parents who make the difference between success and failure.
Parents own a big piece because they're the first teachers. And when students have good parents and caring and parents who are guiding them, those students do well in school and they go on and do well in the world of work.
How do you get to the parents?
You have to talk to them, you have to invite them, you have to ask them.
Cash says he set up a series of parent meetings now through the end of the school year. And then there's the teacher situation.
It certainly is stubborn. That's the word I would use. And the people are all nice and friendly, but there's partly a reason why you don't have a contract for 12, 15 years, you know. Because when you negotiate, you know, you have to give and you have to take. And
there hasn't been too much of that.
No, and you would get one pretty quickly if we all gave a little and then compromised somewhere in the middle.
Is that on the near horizon, do you think? Is that on your agenda?
That's my agenda, yeah, to sit down. If I've got to sit down with the leader himself, Phil in this case, or Crystal in the case of the principals of the administrative union, then let's sit down. But with the full expectation that we're negotiating. And we have to give to get.
In the next year, do you think?
I hope so. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not at impasse. I'm ready to sit down tomorrow.
He's a proponent of the Common Core testing, but says it was rushed in New York. It wasn't ready to be implemented, and it wasn't implemented properly. The discord on the school board, he says that doesn't really bother him. He can work with anyone. Fixing this school district is going to take a while, but he says he's here for the long term. He might even buy a house.
So 4 to 5 years, if my health holds up, it could be longer. And if I buy a home, I have one over on Elmwood picked out.
So could Kriner Cash even see the day when Buffalo schools are on an even par with the top-rated systems in the suburbs?
I definitely can see that. I have a vision of that. I share that with many other leaders in this community. And I know that we have the talent to do it. It's whether we have the political will to get it done or not.
Keith Radford, Eyewitness News.